Welcome to Market Monkeys.
Speak for yourself. Right, what are we talking about now?
Barratts and Taylor Wimpey we're going to be talking about.
These are
in
UK companies.
UK. There are a few other... Sorry, carry on.
Lots of other UK companies I like and I bought. But anyway, we're talking about Barratts and Taylor Wimpey, and obviously this is more for our European friends. And obviously if you're in Canada or America and you want to diversify your portfolio, to give yourself a separate strategy to just in those different continent. As we stated before in a previous episode, when I was talking about Lloyd's. Right, once again, when I bought Lloyd's, I knew they had the largest mortgage company, which is the Halifax Building Society. I knew they had the largest mortgage company, but obviously when I started buying Lloyd's, there was in the crash.
There was a
crash.
Big
so
crash,
they crashed, but I also noticed, obviously, that all the building companies, I'm in the United Kingdom, there's quite a few building companies. There's Barratts, Taylor Wimpey, Persimmon, Bellway, Bovis, to name about 5. There's only about 7 that can actually change by volume. They can build that many houses. They've got the structure. They've got the infrastructure to be able to build up and down the country at a volume that would suit the needs of the country. So if that country is going to be rebuilt, I personally, this is what I believed, that those companies were the only ones that could take it out of it. So they were all tanking.
At the time, you were saying that the housing market was behind by 1 million, 1 million homes, right?
Yeah, there were 1 million homes behind.
The actual price of the shares was tanking because of the crash, but because the house prices were crashing.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, like just for instance, Taylor Wimpey shares used to be £5 roughly. They went down to about 9 pence.
Yeah, but
I didn't buy them for that, and that was in 2007.
That was because they thought they were going to go pop.
Yeah,
that was the thing.
That's right. But I saw some value in it because I realised they still had the scale, and I thought, right, now, do I put all my money on one of these companies in case one of them goes pop? No, I put them on 2. And so I picked, at the time, Barratts and Taylor Wimpey. I spread my risk, right? Because they're not all going to go bust, because those are the companies that are going to survive and come through in the future. So I put my money on 2 of the stocks, Taylor Wimpey and Barratts, as I say, right? And
you lost.
I am. I put my money on.
You were looking at that because of the mortgage companies as well, and who's going to build them, who's going to also.
And I realised, obviously, the Halifax would be lending 1 in 4 to the building companies, to the people that would buy those properties. So I knew in the end that when it did kick off, those stocks would just rise because these were the companies that were just lying dormant. Their shares were absolutely tanking. I'm saying £5 down to about 9 pence, right? And even worse for Barratts. Barratts went from about £12 down to about 60p.
Oh, was it
60p? I mean, I was buying them at 69p, but now they're nearly back up to £7. But anyway, they're still a fantastic company. But at the time, the dividends were cancelled. All of them, just once again, like Lloyd's, cancelled. Going forward, I just had to. There's a distressed companies, you had to go forward with them. There is still excellent value here. The dividends are huge, and there's still at this moment in time, there's still 1 million houses short or properties short. No matter which way you cut it, a property short in the United Kingdom.
And they're building like crazy now.
Well, they are, and the government's just announced last week a £2 billion option for local councils to dip into £2 billion, which is $3.5 billion, to help alleviate the problem of getting the houses and properties or flats and apartments and condo type residences built as quick as they can. These companies that I'm saying, like those 5-6 companies, they are the people that those councils will be contacting to build them. And on top of that, the Halifax, which belongs to Lloyd's, they will be the company that lends 25% of the money. 1 in every 4 that buys those properties is going to be getting the loans from here to here. So for me, the building went hand in glove with the bank that had the largest building society.
It's a good strategy. You're just saying you've got it all wrapped up in one, really.
I tried to.
One's going to link into the other and then back to the other, right?
And there was an element of risk, but obviously I think the risk is taken away now. Say for Barratts, there's no risk. Always risk on the markets, obviously, but They're a million properties short, not houses, a million properties short. So for me, if you're buying into that stock, look at the graphs. They will show you that these companies are going forward now. There's a solid future at this moment in time. Money to be made in on a different continent if you're in North America. And the dividends are huge.
I'd like to say another thing though. The thing is with housing companies as well, it is a cyclical company, right?
Correct.
So in down times they're going to go down, in up times they're also going to go up with this. Much like car companies, things like that, tire companies, things like that, right?
Yeah.
It's cyclical. So
yeah. But bearing in mind, I'm 60, and see when I say Barratt Developments and when I say Taylor Wimpey, they have been there all my life. I've never not known those names. Didn't pay much attention to them, but hundreds of years. No, not hundreds. Hopefully 100. That'd be great. But no. Anyway, but they've been there all my life, and once again, there's money to be made there, and I think it's something that you could put possibly into your portfolios. You're buying on a different continent, and I've had great success with this way of thinking, and hopefully it'll help for you. But all the things I am thinking, I'm trying to tell you why I did what I did, because those building companies can't make money unless the big banks support them with the loans to the people to buy the properties. And then when the government's putting incentives in place for those buy to let, whatever they name it as, the politicians put it in place, the bank's got to lend the money to the customer to buy the property. So there's a synergy there, and for me it was a strategy of how to go forward at all the angles, because there's no point just having the bank and thinking they're going to recover. Well, how are they going to recover? Because they got to build the properties, which are $1 million short.
Just taking advantage of the situation that the downturn was, right?
Exactly. I took advantage of the dip, and I took advantage of the crisis. But it's
the way to do that as well. You got to also think you always got to have money set aside for these sort of things.
Yeah.
Or at least a strategy that should anything happen, should a crash happen, it's all.
That's right. I like to have money in different countries, and I like to keep back anything between 10 and 20% of my total portfolio. Total portfolio. I like to keep it in cash. So if anything take a downturn, doesn't mean I'm ever going to sell the things I've got. It just means they're going to go down, and then I'm going to look at my portfolio and say, is there anything here that's absolutely gone stupid, and the numbers are still the same?
Take advantage of it.
I will take advantage of it with that 10-20% in cash.
You don't have the cash, can't make the opportunity.
That's right. That's why it's very good for me. That's how I think, is to have money in reserve, always just in case of not necessarily a crash. Call it a correction. But some stocks do correct, and we take advantage of that.
Absolutely. Part of the strategy, which we'll talk about in another episode for sure.
Yeah. Listen, guys, if there's anything there you liked, subscribe.
I'd just say, you know what? Just subscribe anyway.
Subscribe anyway then.
Market Monkeys.
Market Monkeys. Right.